You've tried fixing the job, the relationship, the routine. You've changed the location, detoxed your body. You've even redesigned your home to feel more aligned, and still, something feels stuck. Like you're constantly upgrading the outside, but the inside doesn't budge. That ache, that subtle resistance, that's the signal, because the truth is, external shifts can never outrun an internal frequency. You don't magnetize a new life by rearranging the furniture of your reality. You do it by becoming a new vibration. And here's the quantum twist. The field doesn't respond to what you fix. It responds to what you emit. You see, we were taught to hustle our way into transformation, to work harder, think better, look more put together. But energy doesn't lie, and you can't fake coherence. The frequency you carry is the blueprint of your reality. You attract not what you ask for, but what you are. That's why so many people manifest temporary wins, only to find themselves back in the same patterns, because the signal never changed. The external was upgraded, but the internal code stayed wired to the same station. Lack, fear, not enough. So what if I told you the reason life keeps echoing the same story isn't because you're doing it wrong, it's because your frequency is still rehearsing an old identity. And here's the part no one told you. Shifting your energy is not about forcing positivity or pretending to be high vibe. It's about resonance, alignment, coherence. In this video, you're going to learn how to stop editing the surface and start calibrating the signal, how to become the version of you whose energy already collapses the timeline you've been reaching for. Because once the frequency locks in, the field has no choice but to respond. This isn't mindset work, it's quantum mechanics. You're about to feel it in your bones. So stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you won't just understand why fixing the outside doesn't work, you'll know how to shift your entire world from the inside out. Long before you ever tried to fix the outside world, something inside you already knew. There's a hidden current beneath your thoughts, a vibration humming beneath every action you take. It's not the words you speak or the goals you set, but the signal you're unconsciously broadcasting that's crafting your reality on repeat. Ancient mystics called it chi. Modern science calls it electromagnetic coherence. And quantum physicists have shown through the observer effect that your world bends not to your effort, but to your energetic blueprint. That's why people can recite affirmations every morning, work tirelessly toward their goals, even surround themselves with luxury and love, yet still feel hollow. Because if the frequency is coded in fear, in doubt, it's an old trauma, that's what gets reflected, no matter how perfect the exterior seems. You're not broken, you're just misattuned. You're not unlucky, your field is just entangled with an outdated version of yourself. This is the unseen trap. Fixing the outside becomes another form of avoidance, another layer of control, while the real key to shift from force to flow is buried beneath the noise. You can't out-strategize a low frequency. You have to transmute it. But how? How do you access the part of yourself that isn't shaped by wounds, that isn't looping in survival, that's already radiating the timeline you crave? That's where we're going next. Because the truth is, your future doesn't need to be built. It already exists. And the only reason you haven't collapsed into it yet is because the signal's off. You're tuned to an echo, not your essence. And in the quantum field, that difference is everything. You wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep. Your heart races over things that haven't happened yet. No matter how many goals you set, there's this low hum of anxiety that never leaves. You try to be grateful, but the joy feels fleeting. You try to stay positive, but your energy crashes halfway through the day. You find yourself scrolling, comparing, performing even in your moments of rest. Deep down, there's a quiet question you don't say out loud. Why does it still feel like something's missing? This is not because you're lazy or broken. It's not because you're doing life wrong. It's because you've been trying to rearrange the symptoms of misalignment without addressing the signal underneath. You've been taught to fix the outside, improve your habits, chase your dreams, become more disciplined. But you haven't been taught how to tune your frequency. You haven't been taught that your nervous system, your emotional set point, your subconscious beliefs are all broadcasting a vibration that's selecting which version of reality you collapse into each day. That's the real reason things feel stuck. You're not repeating events, you're repeating frequencies. And as long as your signal is anchored to survival, doubt, or unworthiness, you will continue to draw on the same experiences, no matter how hard you work. This is the hidden pain no one talks about. Not the failures themselves, but the heartbreak of doing everything right and still watching life reflect the same story. And if that's you, if you've been silently wondering why nothing seems to shift, then what you're about to discover in the next chapters is going to feel like breathing for the first time. Because the issue was never your effort. It was your energy. And the shift begins not by doing more, but by tuning deeper. Here's the truth most people miss. Your frequency isn't a mystery. It's measurable, adjustable, trainable. And the most powerful diagnostic tool you have is your emotional baseline. Your emotions aren't just feelings. They are frequency indicators. When you feel anxious, you're attuned to uncertainty. When you feel rushed, you're broadcasting scarcity. When you feel like you're not enough, the field reads that as lack and reflects more of it. But when you begin to observe your emotions as signals and not truths, you gain access to the dashboard of your entire reality. Moment you say, "I'm not broken, I'm broadcasting," everything changes. So how do you tune? Step 1. Awareness. Spend one full day noticing what you feel before you speak, before you respond, before you check your phone. Your emotions reveal the frequency you're emitting in real time. Step 2. Regulation. When you catch yourself spiraling, pause, breathe into the body, name the emotion, shift the state. Simple changes in breath, posture, and attention can recalibrate your nervous system and reset your field. Step 3. Embodiment. Visualize the version of you who already lives the life you desire. Feel their energy. It's not just their success, but their peace, their pace, their posture. Then ask, how would they breathe? How would they see this moment? That's not imagination. It's frequency alignment. And the more time you spend in that state, the more the quantum field begins to recognize that version of you as the new default. Because the field isn't judging your past or your worth. It's listening to your signal. The version of your life you long for is not somewhere far away, it's orbiting you, waiting for coherence. Waiting for you to lock in the broadcast of who you truly are underneath the noise. When your signal locks in, when your emotional, mental, and physical states align, in coherence the field around you begins to rearrange. Not slowly, not metaphorically, but in ways that feel almost impossible to explain. The call comes through. The opportunity appears. The pattern you've been stuck in for years suddenly breaks without force. This is not coincidence. It's quantum feedback. The field responds not to your hustle, but to your harmony. You enter a sustained state of alignment. You become magnetic not because you're manifesting harder, but because you're finally vibrating in truth. Think of your frequency as a code. When that code stabilizes, the field can finally read your signal clearly and deliver experiences that match it with precision. But here's where most people sabotage the shift. They visit the frequency of alignment, but don't live in it. They meditate in the morning, then collapse in distress by midday. They visualize abundance, then panic when they check their bank account. That fluctuation sends mixed signals, and the field mirrors the inconsistency. To shift your timeline, the signal must become stable. That doesn't mean you never feel fear or doubt. It means you observe it without fusing to it. You become the witness, not the reactor. You hold the vibration of your future self long enough for the field to collapse it into form. This is the secret behind every quantum leap: prolonged coherence. Not perfection. Not effort. Coherence. That state where your heart and mind move in sync, where your breath deepens, your nervous system softens, and your energy field becomes a clear broadcast of truth. It's in that state that timelines bend, because you're no longer chasing the life you want. You're embodying the frequency of the version of you who's already living it. Stabilizing your frequency isn't about suppressing emotions or faking. Positivity is about cultivating coherence on demand. And the most powerful tools for that? Your breath, your attention, and your environment. Neuroscience shows that slow, rhythmic breathing, especially through the nose, directly regulates the vagus nerve, shifting you from fight-for-flight into parasympathetic calm. When you breathe intentionally, you're not just relaxing. You're literally retuning your nervous system and recalibrating your frequency. Next comes attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Most people unconsciously fixate on problems, fears, or lack and wonder why their life mirrors anxiety. But when you deliberately choose what to focus on, peace, abundance, gratitude, you begin to rewire the circuits of your brain and broadcast a new vibrational pattern. This is not just theory. Studies from HeartMath Institute show that when heart and brain rhythms synchronize through practices like heart-focused breathing and gratitude meditation, the electromagnetic field around the body becomes more ordered, more coherent. And that coherence is measurable. It impacts not only your biology, but the field around you. Your environment also plays a key role. Your physical space, the sounds you hear, the people you interact with, they'll contribute to your frequency. Curating your surroundings like a frequency sanctuary. Clear the clutter. Play music that lifts you. Speak words that align. Energy is contagious, and when you shape your environment to reflect the version of you that you are becoming, your body starts to believe it's already real. Here's the key. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to meditate for hours. 5 minutes of coherent breath and focus, repeated daily, does more to stabilize your frequency than a once-a-week spiritual binge. The field isn't looking for perfection. It's responding to your dominant signal, and that signal is shaped not just in rituals, but in the micro-choices you make throughout the day. How you breathe, where you focus, what you tolerate. You've done the work. You've tuned your frequency, stabilized your energy, and embodied the version of you who already lives the life you desire. And yet, nothing seems to move. The outside world stays quiet. No big signs, no instant breakthroughs, just stillness. This is the moment where most people give up, not because it's not working, but because they misinterpret the silence. They assume the field isn't listening. But in truth, silence is not absence, it's alignment in progress. When your frequency is locked in, the quantum field begins to reorganize around your new signal. But here's the twist. Energy moves first, matter follows. And in that gap, when nothing appears to be happening, that's when everything is shifting underneath the surface. Your nervous system, once addicted to chaos, is learning peace. Your subconscious, once wired to expect disappointment, is finally quiet enough to receive. And the timeline you're tuning into? It's drawing closer not because you're chasing it, but because you're becoming it. The silence is not punishment, it's proof. Proof that you're no longer reacting, no longer looping. You've stepped outside the old program, and now the field is testing your consistency. Can you hold the frequency without needing evidence? Can you embody faith without forcing control? This is the real work of quantum becoming, trusting the silence. Because silence is where coherence stabilizes. And once coherence stabilizes, the shift becomes inevitable. It might not look how you expected. It might come through a whisper, a coincidence, a sudden knowing. But it will come. Because the field doesn't forget. It mirrors. And when your frequency says, I already am, the universe echoes, so it is. Anchoring the shift isn't about chasing peak moments, it's about translating elevated frequency into everyday rhythm. Because transformation doesn't happen in meditation alone. It crystallizes in how you move through your morning, how you respond to tension, how you breathe when no one's watching. That's why the most powerful tool to lock in your frequency is a simple, sacred ritual, the alignment loop. It has 3 parts: morning intention, midday reattunement, and evening embodiment. Each takes just a few minutes, yet together they restructure your energetic signature from the inside out. Morning intention begins before the world grabs your attention. Before your phone, your schedule, or your thoughts hijack your vibration, ask one question. What frequency am I choosing to live in today? Choose not just an emotion, but an identity. Are you embodying peace, expansion, overflow? Then breathe into that. Let your body feel it. Let your cells remember it. Set your tone before the world sets it for you. Midday reattunement is your reset. Set a reminder. Pause. Close your eyes. Ask, am I still broadcasting from the identity I chose this morning? Or did I slip back into survival? No judgment, just recalibration. Breathe. Return. Realign. Evening embodiment is your lock-in. Before sleep, revisit your day through the eyes of the version of you you're becoming. What choices matched your highest frequency? What reactions pulled you out? Celebrate the shifts. Forgive the slips. Feel gratitude not for what happened, but for who you were being. This loop may seem subtle, but it's how you turn moments into momentum, because the field doesn't need grand gestures. It responds to your energetic baseline. And when that baseline becomes a living frequency, a fleeting practice, you don't just shift timelines. You stay in the one you chose. No shift is linear. Even when your frequency is strong, the old identity will try to whisper back into your field. Not because you're failing, but because you're evolving. And evolution triggers resistance not from the universe, but from the parts of you still wired to survive the old way. We'll hear thoughts like, it's not working, I'm slipping, this is just who I am. But these aren't truths. They're echoes, residual data from a frequency you no longer belong to. The question is not, how do I stop the old self from showing up? It's, how do I stop merging with it when it does? And the answer is awareness without identification. The moment you feel yourself reacting from fear, shrinking from truth, or spiraling into doubt, pause. Say this out loud or in your mind, that's not me anymore. Those 4 words disrupt the loop. They break the spell. Because once you name the pattern as a memory, not a reality, it loses its magnetic pull. Then pivot. Shift your breath. Change your posture. Move your body. Pattern interrupt. Frequency reset. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about consciously stepping back into alignment faster than before. Remember, old patterns don't vanish overnight. They dissolve through disuse. Every time you catch the old broadcast and choose a new one, you weaken the neural path, reinforce the new timeline, and signal to the field, I'm ready for next. And the field listens. The secret is not perfection. The secret is consistency. In your return, your power lies in how quickly you remember. And with practice, remembering becomes instant, reflexive, embodied. There comes a moment when remembering who you are stops being a practice and becomes your presence. You no longer ask, am I aligned? Because you are alignment. You no longer wait for signs, because your entire energy field is the signal. This is when you cross from becoming to being. And from that place, reality bends, not because you're controlling it, but because you're finally coherent enough to let it arrive. You walk differently. You breathe differently. Speak less, but say more. Life doesn't speed up, but it flows. People who meet you can feel it. Something about your presence feels calibrated, clear, grounded. It's not because you did more. It's because you stopped leaking energy into identities that never belonged to you. You reclaimed your frequency, and now life reflects it. This is the quantum art of living, not manifesting from desire, but collapsing from identity. Not begging the field to respond, but embodying the vibration that leaves it no choice. So if this journey stirred something inside you, if a part of you felt seen, remembered, reactivated, then let this be your moment. Anchor it. Claim it. And if you're ready to stay in this field, to keep rising into resonance, into embodiment, into the highest version of your signal, then stay connected. Subscribe to this channel, not just for content, but for coherence. Like this video not to boost the algorithm, but to affirm the alignment. And share it with someone whose frequency is waking up, someone who's done with fixing the outside and ready to shift from within. Because this isn't just a message, it's a movement. And you're not watching it by accident. You're here because something in you is ready to lead with frequency, to live from signal, to walk as vibration. And that changes everything.